Welcome back, traders, and today we're doing the weekend update for Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners. So things have calmed down since last week on Thursday and Friday when we saw this huge red candle on Thursday, followed by a pretty big red candle on Friday. Since then, we've come up a little bit. We went into this zone here that I drew. I think I drew this on Friday after this candle had already happened, so there wasn't anything, any big predictions there, aside from the fact that it has been holding above this level since I drew this a few days ago. Also, I drew a new line down here, which is what I'm expecting price to potentially do, kind of bobble around between 26 and maybe even 25,300 for a few weeks, if not longer, before going up again. So the cup and handle did not happen. You can see it started following it and just didn't make it, so that's gone. This one blew right past this one. That one is gone. This blue one here, this other blue one that remains, this might actually still occur. We could see it do a bit of a bobble around here, and then move up back into the zone in the 26.7 to 27,000 range, and bobble around in there a bit before moving on up. But we are below the 200-day. This is the one-day candles, but we are below the 200-day moving average, which is this red line here. That's bad. That's really not good. Look how far above it we were, and then we just dropped way below it. And we're holding pretty far below it. The 20 still going to catch up. We're probably going to see the 20 maybe come close to the 200. As long as the 20 stays above the 200, that's not as terrible and scary as it would be if the 20 were also below the 200. But if it crosses under it, then we're having a bad day. But anyways, we want to see the price get back to and above the 200-day to feel good about it. But I'm expecting some sideways price action here in this zone between the 26 and 25.3 area for a while. Let me move this over a little bit now. I'm expecting it to probably knock around above this level before coming in a bit, but I could be wrong. It could just shoot right back up, but I don't see any news indicating that that's probably what's going to happen. So I'm going to assume that we'll just go sideways for a while. Miners will continue to bleed off, and then at some point later in the year or early next year, we'll see it launch upward into the halving. So let me take a look at some more things related to Bitcoin. This is Coin Market Cap. You can see the fear and greed index here. We're at a 35, so we're in the fear currently for crypto. Bitcoin, let's see, our market cap is still over a trillion, so that's not too bad. Bitcoin dominance is at 48%, as you can see up here. That's not too bad. Let's see, this one was interesting. Bitcoin, the woes of Bitcoin miners continue as prices crash. You might want to read this one if you're in on that trade with Bitcoin miners. If we scroll down here, we'll see that, let's see, from Glassnode on August 19th, the total transaction fees paid to miners fell to a new 5-month low. That is bad. That's bad for us. That's bad for our trade. That's bad for miners. So I'm expecting to see some further downside with that kind of news, that kind of bearish news coming out. So be prepared for a rough ride this week, perhaps, unless Bitcoin price recovers, at which point this isn't as important. But seeing that the fees paid to miners, the transaction fees, that it fell to a new 5-month low just over the weekend, that was yesterday on Saturday. That to me is making me feel like Monday might be bad, might be a rough Monday, possibly from that. Then the other thing, oh yeah, post halvings. Where was I? Post halvings and market responses. This is another article on Coin Market Cap, Bitcoin halving, an in-depth exploration. You should probably check this out if you're interested in this trade at all, just to have a bit of the history of the Bitcoin halvings and their timelines in your mind for this next trade. As you can see, there's only been three so far. In 2012, and then in late 2012, Bitcoin hit over $1,000 for the first time in late 2013. And then you had a halving in 2016, which led to a price of just under $20,000 at the end of 2017. When we say the end, I'm talking about Q4 2013 and Q4 2017. In 2020, they broke this theme and hit a high of $64,000 in April 2021, a whole 2 quarters earlier than usual. So some people are speculating that with a lot of the adoption that's happening, with a lot of the new, ETFs coming out, a lot of big players getting interested in Bitcoin this time around, there's a lot of speculation that the um, big run up could happen in late 2024 this time. We might not see it go into the next year before reaching a new high, a new all-time high. People are speculating that maybe, just maybe, Q4 2024 might be the time when Bitcoin reaches its all-time high for this bull cycle. Now, that's something I'm keeping my eyes on. That's not something I'm saying is going to happen. I don't know if it will or if it will not, but it is in my mind, and I will be watching the price of Bitcoin very closely at the end of next year for this. And if it doesn't happen, if I don't see a price that goes above this $64,000, then I will come to expect that the new all-time high will happen sometime in 2025. But that's something to keep on your radar for now. The other thing to look at here, this is another website. It's lookintobitcoin.com. It's a great website, lots of charts to take a look at. Here I've got the Puell multiple brought up. I'm not going to go into detail about what that is. The only thing you need to know about this chart is that when this goldish orange line here is in the green, it's probably a good time to pick up Bitcoin. When it is up in the red, it's probably a good time to sell Bitcoin. As you can see from the last whole cycle, we barely touched the red here. Just touched the top, or the bottom, the top of the chart, just touched the bottom of that zone here as we were reaching our peak prices. And even as it was at its highest price over here, we didn't, we were already on our way down with the Puell multiple. So take anything you see with this with a grain of salt. Don't just take it as gospel. But keep in mind, if it's getting to the top of this chart, you might want to think about exiting a trade, or at least having a plan for how you're going to exit the trade. Because once it's in this red territory, it's as if you look at the price of Bitcoin, it stays up at these high levels for a matter of days, weeks at most, and that is all the time you have to make your move. If you don't make your move, then you are selling at significantly lower prices than you could have. The other chart I like to look at here, let's see, Pi cycle top indicator, the Pi cycle top indicator. If you are still holding on to a Bitcoin trade and you see this little dashed line right there, you probably can't see it because my cursor is covering it, but it's like right next to my cursor here on the left. Um, if you're still in a Bitcoin trade and that is on the chart behind you, you may have missed the top. So keep that in mind as well. You can see it also did it over here in 2021, April. You might have had the top behind you if you see that dash line on this chart. So keep that in mind. I do check this frequently as well. Not too frequently, like every few weeks or so. I like to look at it, see if something's going on. But that's just look into Bitcoin.com. Keep that on your favorites. Take a look at these charts. There's lots of them. They're real interesting to look at. As I said, my favorites are the Pi Cycle Top Indicator as well as the Puell multiple chart. I like those two to look at to give me a bit of an idea of what's going on with Bitcoin right now. So let's talk about the miners here. So Mara had a really bad week last week. Just look at this. Our downward channel is pretty aggressive, that downward channel all by itself, but it got so much more aggressive starting on the 15th. And you can see just that strong downward move, just real strong. Let's draw a channel on it actually right here and then about right there. Yeah, about right there. Look how much steeper that got. Wow. You might be wondering what this blue line is. I'll zoom out and look at that in a moment. But wow, that got aggressive. Um, we'll see. It's going to have to break out of this just as aggressive to get back into this channel, to be honest. I don't know if it will. I'm kind of curious, thinking that we might go down and hit this $10 level. And then my 1050 puts that I sold would get triggered and I'd be in at 1050 for the majority of my Mara, but that's okay. I've collected the premium on that and I'm just waiting. If you don't know how to sell options, that might be something to look into on YouTube. Just educate yourself on how that works. But I sold some puts on Mara for 1050 to expire in the next month. If it gets down there and holds down there, I'll be buying at that price because I do believe that Mara isn't going to go much lower than $10 if it does go into that area. So I'm thinking maybe the lowest it could go is probably 920, at which point I'd be buying more. But that's what we're looking at with Mara right now. If I go back to the daily it shows what I was drawing here. So cup and handle, maybe a cup and handle. I know my other cup and handle did not work out. And I'm not saying that this one will either, but there are the makings of a potential cup and handle. As long as we don't go below this green box here, that's in play and it could happen. And I would not be surprised if that were to happen. If Mara were to come into the $9 range and then shoot off from there, I would not be surprised one bit. There's a ton of support here, as you can see here. Look at this, just all of those candles. Those are all daily candles right in here, one day. So we started this in this zone, let's say from, was it April 20th? And we only exited it on June 20th. Like that was a lot of support right there. I don't see us going below that. If we do go below that, that's a really bad day. I'm gonna have a real hard time processing Mara going below a price in this zone here at the bottom. That would be very damaging to me and my trade here. That would hurt. That would hurt so much if it were to do that. So I'm really hoping it doesn't do that. I'm really hoping for the cup and handle. But of course I could be wrong, and at which point I'll just hold until things get back into the 20s and then probably panic sell when I'm in profit, honestly. That's what I would expect myself to do given that scenario. So let's look at the after hours because after hours on Friday, we actually saw some positivity out of it. It wasn't huge, but we did see some slight upward move to the top of our downward channel here, actually. So that's not too bad. That's a little bit promising. We might yet see it go back into this other downward channel up here and bounce around in there before moving upward again or a little bit further downward. But right now, the price action is a bit up in the after hours, and that's promising. I like that. So let's look at Bit Digital. What is going on with Bit Digital? So same sort of thing. We had a pretty aggressive sell-off that started back here on August 1st, actually, and it just kind of started coming down, coming down. We broke out of our downward channel with this very aggressive move down here. We went through $3 like it was nothing. We went through 280 like it was nothing. Came down to the bottom here, and now we're going to come up and back test the bottom of this zone that I've drawn here at about 278, 280. We're going to back test that just like any good downward move does. We're back testing previous support, and now it will be resistance. And we're going to see. We might even come all the way up and back test $3. That'd be pretty interesting. That would help me get out of some sold puts that I've got. That would be great for me personally. But my expectations are for it to come up to the 278, 280, maybe even $3, and then move down a little bit more. We might even see a sub $2 on Bit Digital. It is possible because where we are right now, there's not that much support. There's a little bit of support here, as you can see in this zone between 260 and 215, but at $2, we don't see that much support. Let me go to the one day. Let's see what do we got here. Yeah, where we are on the one day right now, we blew past our support. That sucks. This was our support right here between $3 and 276, 278, 280. We blew right past that. That's not good. That is concerning actually, because there was a lot of tight trading in here for about a week. And we just blew right past it and into this next area of support here between, let's say, what is this, between 266 and 233. If we get past this area of support, uh, yeah, we're going down sub $2 if we get past that. There's not much other strong support until we get into this box down here, and that's under $2. So we went past our strongest support right now on Bit Digital. It's rough. That doesn't mean sell. That doesn't mean buy. That just means that it's going. If you are in a position, your decisions just got a whole lot tougher. Just like with mine, I have quite a substantial amount of Bit Digital, and this is damaging me right now a lot with this downward move. It is hurtful. It is tough to look at. I've been doing my best with utilizing options in order to try to hedge some of my losses. Again, look into that on your own time. There are other YouTubers that cover this much better than I could ever cover the buying and selling of options and how that all works. Maybe one of these days I'd feel comfortable doing that, but for right now, yeah, you're on your own looking that up. I'm just trying my best to keep my head above water as everything's falling, and I knew it was going to fall, but some days are pretty dramatic compared to others. Anyways, like with my big red arrow here, we're probably coming down to this area. Unless we see a bounce on Monday and Tuesday back up into this zone above 280, unless we get back into this zone and break above it and stay above 280. We have to get above and stay above 280. in order for this trade to be moving the other direction again. And just to get back into this downward channel that's less aggressive, it's going to require a big move like that. That's what I'm hoping for. I would like to see it go back up. I would like to see some green days on Bit Digital, but right now things are a bit tough. And what I'm seeing is a pretty strong downward move. This here is not the most bearish daily candle I've ever seen, with this big wick on top, but it came down and tried to push up and only got halfway back up. Like that's a good showing of an attempt to get back up, but it's not, kind of like this candle right here before this big upward move, or even this candle right here, this hammer right here before this big upward move. This kind of is reminiscent of that. I'm thinking we might see a bit of a move up after this, perhaps, but we'll see. Unless we get above 280 and stay above that, I'm not convinced that there's a lot of strength in the short term for Bit Digital. But again, we are expecting much bigger things from this as the trade matures. Let's go down to the 1 hour chart and look at the extended trading hours because things actually did get a little bit better. And I don't know why it's not showing it. So let me go down to 30 minutes. Let me go down to 15 minutes. No, really. I know that it went up a little bit in after hours. If I look on the Webull, perhaps I'll bring that up in a minute and show that. I don't know why it's not showing up on TradingView. Bitfarms. Bitfarms is actually performing exactly as I expected. It's in my downward channel that I've been extending. It went below this green trend line here and it's coming back up to back test it. We just barely touched my buy zone here at the 120 level, went just below to 119 and then shot back out of that thing like crazy. That's what I expected to happen. At this point, honestly, this looks fairly strong. This could go either way. It's starting to break out of the upward channel or the downward channel here. I'm expecting it to reject off the top of that, maybe come back and test the top of this again at 120, 119, and maybe form a double bottom over time and come back up out of that again. That's what I'm expecting from it. I believe this was also up in after hours. If it shows me, yeah, see, this is up in after hours. So I'm really feeling not too bad about this actually right now. Bitfarms is making me feel decent about its movements, but of course we'll see what comes on Monday. It can totally come back down to the 120 range before going back up, but I'm feeling like 120 is probably, as you can see with all this support here, like that they just rejected it immediately. It got into support and just bloom, shot right up. So there's a lot of support. Like unlike with Bit Digital, there's so much support right here. Let me extend this and see how many candles just show up in there. Let's extend it like this far back. Look at that. There's just so much support for Bitfarms at the 120 level. Just look at this all the way back from April, and it just kind of bounced around in this zone all the way until what day was this? Until June. So from April to June, it was just going like that. I think this is similar to, yeah, this is pretty. Oh, I mean, there's even more back here, and there's a lot of support down here. I don't feel like Bitfarm's going to go down a lot more compared to Bit Digital or even Mara. It hit the support and just bounced off it real hard. Like, look at how strong that upward candle is. That's just beautiful to see. So unlike with Bit Digital, if we go down to the 1 day, we just don't have anything like that until we get down to the 170, 180, and even that's not as strong, but it is much stronger than what this was here. And with Mara, like we said, or just a moment ago, with Mara, there's just so much support right here. It's got to get down here. Bitfarms got down to that support level where it just had this much volume there to support it. The other two haven't gotten there yet, so I think they have further to fall. Whereas Bitfarms could take off from here or back test this support again, maybe once or twice more before taking off upward going forward. So that's the update for today. That's what I'm seeing on the three I'm looking at. Let me take a look real quick at Hut. Hut had a really bad earnings, but had some troubles the last 2 days. You can see my lines here shot right through them. It also had a nice little bounce. I don't really know what it bounced off of because it's all of its support is. Let's get box. All of its support is about in this zone here, about right there. That's where its lower support is. It didn't quite make it, but it got close. That's what I'm expecting with Hut. I just wanted to bring that up as that was one I talk about sometimes as well. Oops, that's the wrong Bitfarms. That's the one from Canada. All right, so we're here in Webull now, and Webull shows the after hours for this 1 hour. So 30 minutes. I wish it showed me my time. Anyways, You can see over here in after hours on Friday, Bit Digital was up 3%, Mara was up 0.5%, Bitfarms was up 4%, Hut was up 0.4%, right, up 0.8%, CleanSpark not at all, Hive down 1. But that's the weekend update. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a profitable day.